Should I
guys.
sit like this? Is it weird that I say it like this?
It's a little.
Is it?
A little bit.
Well.
Maybe.
Okay, guys. For the video listeners, you can see that the setup looks a little different today. Even the sound is a little different. I don't know. Maybe it's because I moved some stuff around. You know, we're trying something new, okay?
The acoustics.
Huh?
The acoustics.
Yeah, maybe the acoustics are a little better or worse. I don't know. We're trying something new here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're getting back to our OG, like, first 5-10 video days where we were doing it in Sada's place.
With the big ass pillows covered.
Yeah, exactly. On the
I
couch.
don't know why we did that the first day.
It was just this little setup we had.
We had like a minor, tiny bit of anxiety, and those are just our comfort support pillows.
Did I have the pillow too?
We both like these massive pillows on us. Amir, if you can.
Maybe we'll bring back the pillows.
Oh,
yeah, I
it's
can
really
put it behind us. Why?
Because like have you ever watched those videos since we've posted them?
I after I put up a video online, I go back and like look at for a few minutes just to see how everything looks on the page, and then I never go back to it again.
Sometimes I go through it just to like pretend like I'm watching it like a viewer.
What?
Like, how do they experience this video?
Yeah.
You know, like I watch the intros and I'm like, if I wasn't me and I was just a fan, or just a friend, someone that watched it, like would I get excited when I see like
nah,
this
man.
CCP?
After looking at that footage for like 6 hours, I'm done with it.
You know what though? Once I post the clips, because when I'm posting the clips, it's on a loop as I'm like, I at this point now I just turn off the volume.
Yeah.
I can't bear to I can't stand to hear our voices anymore. But once I post the videos, the clips, that's when I never go back. But like at first, I used to go back and just make sure that everything was like, you know, still up and running.
Yeah. It's not like it's gonna change over time or something.
I don't know. Just give us an extra view. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Cousin
Connection Podcast. It felt kind of weird though. I don't know.
What do you mean?
I'm so over intros. They were so last week. They're so last semester.
I mean, I think it still works.
Intros are out now. Cold opens are in.
That's what
the kids are saying.
That's what they do. They are saying that. You know what else they're saying?
What?
They're saying that you shouldn't find your niche, because if you find your niche, then you're boxed into that niche.
What?
So you should create your own, is what they're saying. Did you know that?
Your own niche?
Yes.
What do you mean?
So for example, let's say your
what's a niche to you?
To me?
Yeah.
It's like what you not necessarily what you identify with, but like it's like your thing.
Yeah. Like,
so for example,
how do you have multiple niches? Okay, go.
Okay, so let's just say for example's sake.
Yeah.
Let's just say your niche is working out.
Yeah.
Which it is. Right?
One of them, yeah.
One of them. But if you started off, let's say we started off this podcast strictly as like we're just talking about workout journeys.
Yeah.
He's obviously in a different stage than I am, but like we're both just talking about it because it's easy for us to compare and contrast, right?
Yeah.
Then we would have boxed ourselves into that niche.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
But like
yeah.
This video that I was watching, she was saying like the art of being successful on TikTok is not to force yourself into this niche. Like for example, you're like, oh, you know what, fitness pages are doing really well, I'm gonna do a fitness page.
Yeah.
Instead, you should just create your own niche.
Yeah, I do see that. That's why a lot of creators lead to like having burnout, because they are so stuck to doing one niche or one thing, and like there's only so much you can milk out of that one niche.
Exactly.
Until like it starts just getting repetitive.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, what do I do now? How do I do something different? Especially if you have that side of your brain where you need to do something that's creative or different, but you've done it for so long and so often that you kind of run out of things that you can even think of.
Yeah.
So at that point, that's where you see a lot of creators. They'll like come out and be like, hey guys, I'm taking a break, or like
they have to like reinvent themselves.
Exactly.
All they do is find a new niche.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's why I don't like I feel like this podcast hasn't really stuck to a niche. Like we kind of just been all over the place.
But it's been working for us.
Yeah.
Because I think, like for example, like we know, and I think you guys know, when we talk about relationships, I feel like that brings the most traffic to our pages, to our like we get the most listeners on all platforms.
Yeah.
And although it's fun to talk about this topic, first of all, it's a very niche topic. There's only so much you can really say, especially if you know, you have to be careful of what you say. Like, you don't want to expose too much about your own personal life and whatever, you know what I mean? But like, eventually you're just gonna hit a wall because you've maxed out how much you can talk about it.
Yeah.
And then what?
And that's what frustrated me at first. That's why I didn't want to talk about it for the longest time.
Yeah.
Was because like I felt like it has been covered so much, and like I'm a solutions person, and I just wanted like someone to be like, okay, this is a solution. But then when it comes to relationship, they're so like multifaceted. They're like so unique to every person that there is really no one answer for everything.
Yeah, it's not a black and white topic.
Yeah,
and I think that's why people love hearing the perspectives of many different people, because your experience is not going to be the same as mine, and it's not going to be the same as the however many people that are listening to us. And so they, especially if we didn't start off talking about relationships, right? So our regular listeners have grown to get to know parts of our personality.
Yeah.
I'm say Bart's parts of our personality. And so I think they were interested. They're like, oh, I wonder what they think about this topic.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that we'll never, ever talk about relationships again. But at one point, I think we were doing a relationship series where we would talk about it quite often.
We did one episode.
No, we did 2.
Did we do 2?
Actually, we did 3.
I guess, yeah, like the first one we named it a relationship series until we realized, like, why are we naming these things series? And then we just kind of made it everything. Yeah.
But like we talked about it a couple times where like by the end of it, and whenever we would do Q&As, like 60% of the questions were about relationships. So it's kind of like, guys, there's more to us than just our relationship status. Like, we have so much more to cover than just that. And at that point, I feel like we already covered, like, we said everything we could say.
Yeah.
Maybe in a year from now, like 6 months from now, our perceptions of what they were before could change. And that would be a perfect opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's what, like, this video, to go back to the original point.
Yeah.
The video, she was talking about tips on how to be successful on TikTok. And so that was one of the first ones, was like, don't put yourself in a niche. And so I think that was something that we did we did a good job with that.
Yeah, but there are people who have like, you, for generally it can be, it's not the best to put yourself into a niche. But then once someone, like, you know, hits the jackpot or hits a lottery on a certain video they make that's to a specific niche, then usually they'll run with it. Why you put it over there? But like one example would be like movie people on TikTok, like people who just know, people who literally just, their content is all about the latest movies and like the latest trailers that came out, reviewing stuff like that. There are people who strictly make content on movies and TV shows, and those people are doing pretty well for themselves. And you know what? Sorry, to go back, it depends on what the niche is. Because there are certain niches like that, like movies.
Yeah. Where
you'll never run out of content, because there's always going to be a new movie coming out. There's always going to be a new TV show coming out. There's always going to be some controversy in the movie world. There's always going to be something to review. So I feel like those niches really help out. Also, another example, like I mentioned last time, MKBHD. What?
I don't know.
Marquise Brownlee, the guy that I mentioned last time.
Can't you just say his name, Amir?
No, I'm going to say his YouTube name all the time. You got to show respect to the OGs out here. But his niche, and he's mentioned his niche is technology.
But I love that.
Exactly. So it's not like a one size. It's not always bad to stick to a niche. You just have to make sure that niche has almost a never-ending stream of content.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
If you're like reviewing movies, there's always going to be a new movie for you to review, a new show, whatever.
Yeah.
Reviewing technology, we are in the age of technology where we're constantly getting new developments. So you're right. So I guess, oh, sorry, you can keep going. I was going to say. No.
I was going to say, so what it breaks down to is that there are positive niches and there are negative niches where, like, the negative ones you might not see right away. Yeah. But over time, you'll start to see like the negatives start to pop up, or the cons start to outweigh the pros. Like a few examples. Oh, you want to give a few examples?
I was going to say, okay, but I want to know if we were thinking of the same thing.
Like family channels can be detrimental. Like, they'll be positive at first, but then depending on what your content is, they can turn into something negative. especially if you get warped by it and your mind starts like changing on how you make your content.
On that note, this is obviously like on a much greater scale because it wasn't just on YouTube. But do you remember John and Kate +8?
Oh, you saw that too, right?
Yeah. So I don't know, like I love how we see the same video, so we know what we're talking about. But I guess the mom, Kate, was so like hyper fixated on being successful and making it in the show. And with 8 kids, like one of them's bound to be neglected, honestly. You know? Like poor kids, but I can't remember what his name was. But they're like,
there's one of them.
There's one of them that like,
I think it was like Charlie or something like that. I can't remember.
She don't got a kid named Charlie.
Hey, you never know. William. Okay.
Kevin.
Some white name. I don't know.
I was like Kevin or something.
Yeah.
Kevin's usually the neglected one from Home Alone, if you know.
Is it? Is that his name?
Yeah, Kevin.
His name was Kevin on the show?
Remember them like yelling his name in the airport? Kevin.
Oh, I can't remember his name. Like, I don't remember names
Home
like
Alone?
that. I don't remember people's name that I meet in person. Okay, how am I going to remember
true.
characters in Well, depends. I can like name you every character from like Harry Potter, but whatever.
See? But yeah, like he's I think they're 18 now.
Yeah,
all the kids are 18.
Oh, my voice is cracked there.
It's been cracking.
Yeah. Hey, it's been a long day. Okay.
But because they're 18 now, they're free to speak. I mean, I think is it like legally allowed? Like, why are they now?
No, they're free to speak before, but now technically their parents aren't their legal guardians.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, he has spoken up about it, and some of the kids are closer to their dad, which is crazy because like after they got a divorce, I feel like Kate really villainized John.
Yeah. Well, he did cheat.
Yeah, he did. But I'm saying for as a father, because like cheating is we're gonna remove that. Like we're gonna compartmentalize that. Yeah. Right. Like it's separate from him being a father. And I think she made him sound like a bad father as well. But it's crazy that the kids now feel closer to him. Than they did with her.
Well, you know, maybe there's a reason he cheated. I'm just saying, it might be a little crazy. I'm just saying, not saying that cheating's good. I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying, you know.
But you know, that's one, like the dark side of having these family channels is that your children are not giving you consent. They're kind of just going with the flow because they have to. Yeah. And so what if when they're older, they're like, I don't want my whole childhood online for random people to see. Yeah. You know, and so now, like, I remember before, do you remember sometimes people would post pictures of their kids, but then they'd block their faces? Yeah. Or, like, blur out their eyes or something. Yeah. And in my mind, I was like, what's the point of uploading your child if you're just going to cover their face? Yeah. Like, why? Just don't post them.
Sometimes, I guess.
But then it goes back to the whole saying of, like, keep it private, but not a secret.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? Keep it private, but not a secret?
Yeah. So you're not keeping your child a secret. Like, people know you have a kid. Yeah. But they're just private.
Yeah. For that, I usually say to each his own.
Yeah, to each his own. But now that I'm, like, thinking about it from this perspective at this time of my life, like, I get it. I get why they're not going to post their kid online. Yeah.
For the John and Kate +8, like, it should have been a dead giveaway when you saw her haircut. That haircut she had, I think everyone who's seen that show knows. That's like she has the you know what,
talk
Karen?
To your manager.
Yeah, exactly. The talk to your manager shirt, haircut. Oh my god! But also, like, even the way she acted on the show, you can tell like she was just like that. Really, like, I don't know. She definitely had very Karen energy. That's why I feel like they should change the name from Karen to Kate, because like.
You mean Kate to Karen?
Kate to Karen.
Yeah.
No. Like you know how we call it Karen?
Yeah.
Because she's technically like the OG. Like, that was the first person I saw with that kind of haircut.
Yeah.
She's probably the one who made it popular for all those other moms.
I'm pretty sure she did.
Yeah, because that show came out what, like 2008? If they're 18 now, they were like, they were even like toddlers in the show. No. They were
How old born were they when the show started?
Were they born when the show started?
Babies, yeah.
So that means the show was 18 years ago. That she probably is the OG Karen hairdo. But
because after her, that's when they had all these other like multiple children shows.
Exactly.
Whatever it's called.
Like Octomom.
What the? Oh yeah.
You remember Octomom?
Was she before or after her though?
I think she was after. Her, right? Yeah, she was definitely after.
The fact that they called her Octomom.
Because
she had 8 kids.
Because Kate had she like 2 upped her, because Kate had 6 and she already had 2.
Yeah.
So and Octomom had 8 altogether, which is crazy.
That's actually
like I've seen some
wild.
moms with just one child who have like this belly that sticks from like here to you, like from between us.
Because the kid's big, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then like having 8 inside there.
I mean, let's not shame pregnancy bellies. Let's not.
No,
do
I'm
that.
not shaming it.
Oh,
I'm just saying like the
how do you fit
like
8
how do
kids
you
in there?
like not only how do you fit, but how do you live like that? Like walking around with that much weight in your stomach.
Women's bodies are amazing.
Yeah,
Don't be trying that.
But yeah, so that's a niche. Going back to the original point.
What's a family that you used to watch? Because I know, like, for me, I used to love YouTube families.
Oh, for me, it was always Shay Carl. You already know.
Yeah, I used to watch them too.
Shay Tards, Shay Carl.
Yeah,
that was like
whatever
the
happened
OG
to them?
family. They sold. He made a business called what was it called? With a bunch of other YouTubers. They had a YouTube studio basically they made where they would produce content for other YouTubers, and they would have like, it was almost like they managed other YouTubers.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it got big enough to where it got onto like Disney's radar.
Wow.
Yeah, and Disney ended up buying it
Wow.
for like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh my god.
And all the owners, like I think it was like Shay Carl, Kasim G, and like Lisa Nova. I don't. Do you remember Lisa Nova? There are a bunch of
name sounds
YouTubers.
familiar.
Yeah, who were the owners of it. Even I think Philip DeFranco a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But I think he got out early or something because of some fight. I don't know. But essentially, they all made a bunch of money. He moved to Utah. Shay Carl specifically moved to Utah, built his own ranch. He like bought a ski resort.
Wow.
And he's been living like that. But then he was still making videos. But then he got into some controversy where he was found to be like texting like almost like an OnlyFans girl inappropriately.
I think I remember this vaguely.
Yeah, because he also had a drinking problem that no one knew about.
Oh.
And I guess in one of those his drinking like episodes, he ended up texting this girl and having like inappropriate conversations. That got out. She exposed him. And then he just left the internet altogether. Mm-hmm. And then recently, like maybe 6 months ago, he started re-uploading YouTube videos because he just loved to do it anyways, right?
Yeah.
But he felt more comfortable doing now. The kids are older. So now
I want to see what his kids look like. I'm talking about them like they're like old.
They're all older now. Like one of his kids is like, because he's Mormon. One of his kids like went on a mission.
Shay Carl is Mormon.
He moved to Utah. What do you think?
No, I was wondering why. I thought that was like an American thing to do because it's cheaper.
No, he's always been Mormon. Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh yeah.
Can Mormons drink?
Probably not, but like you know, people are there.
I don't know.
Americans are different, bro. Americans are a different breed in general.
They are.
Yeah,
they're built different.
No offense to Americans. Shout out to y'all. But but yeah, he ended up. What was I? What point was I on?
His son went on a mission.
Yeah, his son went on a mission recently. All his kids are like talking and walking and running around. And
I have a dumb question.
What?
Okay, so you know when they say like, because I remember. Do you remember David Archuleta?
Yeah.
David Archuleta went on a mission, and I did not know what that meant.
Really?
I was like,
oh yeah, because recently actually I saw him post a picture with David Archuleta, like he was in their house. Because I think he's Mormon as well, so they probably just all of them just know each other.
Is that like? Is it like a da'wah trip?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like you go out and you like preach to people in like the rainforest.
Really?
Yeah, like you go into like some like
rural areas
and you start preaching and stuff.
So it's da'wah.
Yeah, basically. But there is a lot of controversy with that as well, because sometimes I don't know if it's a Mormon church. There's one church, I think it was a Mormon church, where they would go to like places like in the Philippines or in very low income like third world towns. Countries, sorry, but towns in those countries.
Okay.
And they would convince the people that like their donations will be better going to the church than their own food, like for their own sustenance. Yeah, so these people would literally starve to death giving donations to the church in order because they were convinced that would give them salvation or something like that.
You're telling me Americans would go to third world countries and ask for donations from poor people?
Yeah, and they were like taught. The Americans were actually taught, or the preachers were taught to like guilt the people in those towns.
How you gonna ask a poor person for money? Make it make sense.
They would be like, I'm not with my family right now. I'm here preaching to you guys, trying to get you guys, because I want what's best for you. Yeah, there was a whole story that came out with it. I can't remember where I saw the video. Probably on TikTok, if anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she was saying like, I would make these people feel guilty, saying like, oh, I'm missing my family and my home and everything to come out and preach to you.
No way.
She's like, knowing well that these people don't have food promised for tomorrow, and I can go back home anytime I want to, like a nice cozy home. And she felt guilt from it. That's why she was like exposing this.
Oh, women can go on mission
Yeah,
trips
I think
too?
so. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. So the son.
No, I'm just saying, man. Some shady stuff going on.
I don't know.
But shout out to Shay Carl.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say shout out to the
Mormon church. I was about to. I was like, wait,
I
did that
know.
work?
I saw that. I saw the contemplation. You were like, shout out to the.
Yeah, I couldn't. My brain had to process that for a second.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea that he was a Mormon.
Yeah. So, but those, to go back to Anisha's again.
Yeah. I got you.
So, that one is an example of like how having a family channel can like turn on you eventually, because then everything gets exposed.
But I know that you watch Timothy De La Ghetto.
Yeah, but he recently pivoted to doing a family channel. Yeah. But even then, he's still like, he knows what to expose and what not to expose.
So he has, say it with me now.
What?
Boundaries.
Yeah, that thing.
I was hoping you were going to say
I didn't know what the word was going to be. Like, we don't have that connection just yet, I'm still getting used to a new studio, you know what I'm saying? Okay.
I know. Everything feels like fresh. And
exactly.
I get you.
But yeah, that's a niche that I've seen has, like, one example would be like the Austin, what's that family? His guy's name's Austin. Ace family.
Oh, Ace family.
Like the Ace family.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like their fame that they got from that
they blew
channel,
up.
it led to like just them turning on each other, and like the kids are being, because the issue with family channels is that at the end of the day, like the kids are getting exploited, and usually the parents just end up turning on each other. It can work out. I'm not saying like for all cases it's bad, but like, it can work out. But for a lot of the cases I've seen, like eventually it just turns on the kids being what do you call it? Not overworked, but like exploited, and the parents like fighting over the money.
Well, they actually, Catherine is pretty loyal to him, regardless of all the BS that he puts her through. His issue, like that family's issue, is that one, the kids are probably overworked and exploited. Well, not overworked because they're not really doing much, but exploited. Yeah. But I also think that Austin, like the dad of the family, all the stuff that he does on the side is coming back to haunt him, unfortunately.
Well, because he's like literally scamming people. They're all scamming people.
Yeah, they're scamming people with like whatever stuff that they sell to them. But at the same time, like, there's like all these cheating rumors, and like every time like him and his dad being like kind of creepy. Yeah. Then there's his like brother's baby mama drama that's like all over online. And that's the thing when you're posting yourself online, is like, if you don't got boundaries, like, you're really gonna screw yourself over in the long run.
And even if you do have those boundaries at first, once they see money rolling in, those boundaries get smaller and smaller and smaller until there's almost no boundaries at all.
Yeah, because like, okay, let's be real. The more authentic content that you post online, the more real it appears. Yeah. And keyword appears, the more viewers you're going to get, right? Like, if you post a video of you just looking like you have the perfect life all the time, nowadays people don't want to see perfection anymore. They want to see real. Yeah. Right? And so, like, to go back to the original list, that was actually one of the things, was like, the girl was saying one of the things that makes you successful online is not just to appear real, but to post the most raw, unedited, unfiltered footage that you have, or content that you have. So that's why, like, if you notice, a lot of the videos where people are just in their cars and they're talking, those do really well. Yeah.
But the thing I don't like about lists like how to explode, they work for certain points. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you never know the internet doesn't know what it wants until you give it to it. Like until you give it.
Like, until you try it all.
No, like I'm trying to think of a good example. Like let's say here's something I recently heard about, like mukbangs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, mukbangs. The first person who did the mukbang didn't know that it was going to be the most popular thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because there was like 2 years where mukbangs were literally like #1 on the internet.
Yeah.
On all platforms for streaming and everything.
I never really liked them.
Huh?
I don't. First of all,
yeah, because it's a niche, so not everyone's gonna like it, right?
It's a niche, yeah.
But it's a niche that's very popular.
Yes.
But the girl who initially started it, like, she just felt alone, and she knew there was other people alone, so she literally just put down her camera in front of her and started eating in front of the camera, and like would stream it so other people can join her while eating. I think it was during COVID, possibly. I can't remember when it started.
No, it
was pre-COVID. Yeah, it was pre-COVID. But it was because, like, I think in certain Asian countries, I can't remember which one specifically. I think it was Korea or Japan. Like, people are very isolated, and
that's sad.
Yeah, so because of that, she felt like this would be a way to connect with people, and then it turned into what it is today. Like, whereas probably one of the most popular.
Are they still popular?
Yeah, mukbangs are still popular, I think. Oh. Especially in Asian countries specifically.
Okay.
Yeah. But like, she didn't know, the internet didn't know they wanted that.
Yeah.
Until she did it.
Yeah.
And then like other people were like, oh, I actually want to see more of this.
But that's an example of someone creating their own niche.
Yeah, exactly. But then that becomes a dangerous niche. Like, there's people like Nick Avocado. Do you know who that guy is? Nick Cavado or whatever. But essentially, he was a mukbang. He did, his whole channel was dedicated to the niche of mukbangs, and ended up destroying his life. He gained like 400 pounds because he would literally just make constant videos of him eating these. Because initially it was just to be like small meals, like a small meal you'll eat with mukbang and be done. Yeah. But then people, of course, America took it, made it bigger and better, or whatever, right?
They said go big or go home. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So they started making it where you eat like large amounts of food in front of the camera and eat it as disgustingly as possible, and like make it as.
Is this him?
Yeah, exactly. So this guy ended up like just taking it to the next level. He would eat like 100,000 calories worth of food, or at least 20,000 calories worth of food in one sitting in a video. And he would film these videos almost every day.
He still does them.
Yeah, he still does them to this day. People are already like counting down to the day that he like croaks or whatever. But yeah, it's really, really bad. But that's idea of like, to this point it's literally like just disgusting. I don't know how people can watch it.
Ew.
I think his fans are mostly just watching for like the gruesome nature of it. But
ew, I don't.
What was my point? But yeah, that's an example of like the niche taking over you, like where you're just like so trying to push it to the next level, and because there's only so much you can do in it, that it ends up like negatively affecting you.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, because the internet always wants more. Really?
Yeah, I saw really. He was like eating noodles and then he threw it up.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, on camera. It was really nasty. But
and he put that on Instagram?
Yeah.
The fact that stuff's allowed on Instagram to begin with?
I know. I know. But anyways, yeah. Back to the list.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was interesting. And you brought this up actually in the very beginning of this episode was, she was saying get rid of the like hook lines or taglines. Like, you know, sometimes people will like they start every single video the same.
Yeah.
And so you were saying like, no, we're not doing that anymore. Like, I think it's I think the whole cold open goes back to being unfiltered, raw, unedited, etc.
Exactly. I think people like that more. That's why like you start to pick up, because I'm always on the internet, like you can say, in a way it's kind of like researching, because every time I watch something I analyze it for everything it is, everything that how they're presenting it, like how it starts. Like I'm just trying to see, like, you know, I'm trying to put together what's going on behind the scenes in a way. Yeah. And that's something I've noticed, and just subconsciously I was like, you know what, I should just stop doing that. Like,
but I think everyone has a difference. Like, some people like structure.
Yeah.
So they want to know. Like, okay, when I listen to the Cousin Connection podcast, I know that I'm gonna I expect this from them, you know. Yeah. And so when we have a cold open, it's kind of like we're switching it up. But then some people are like, you know what? I kind of like the chaotic energy.
Yeah.
Like we just be random. And so I think we'll just switch it up.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll have an intro and sometimes we'll just start talking.
Exactly.
We'll keep y'all on your toes. You never want to know our next move. Or you never will know our next move. Maybe
like, let's talk about DC. Not DC, what's going on? Oh, can I talk about like nerdy stuff for a second?
Yeah.
Can I get in my nerd bag for a second? You know,
let's
change the niche here for a second, okay? No, but really, it might be interesting to you.
Okay,
so I don't know if you noticed. You know how Marvel has like connected universes and everything. Well, DC, which is like the competitor to Marvel.
DC. Okay, listen.
What?
I thought you meant Washington, D.C.
Oh my God, Sarah.
That's what I was like, what's happening?
See, that shows you how much of a niche that I'm into.
So in my head, I'm like, did something political happen there?
Wait, but do you? What niches do you? Before I get into that, what niches do you take part in?
Why are you gonna put me on the spot like that, Amir?
No, I'll say mine. You can say yours. I take part in a bunch of niches.
I mean, same.
Okay, go ahead. What are your niches?
I actually
do
enjoy.
That scared me for a second. Go ahead.
I do enjoy fitness content, first of all.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like niche content that I enjoy?
Something that you obsess over and like here, I'll give you examples of what I do first.
Yeah, let's hear you.
So like my niches are like, of course, working out. Like I obsess over that. Star Wars, Marvel, DC, pretty much anything nerdy except for anime. Anime, I'm not. Really? I watch anime, but I wouldn't call it a niche for me.
Okay.
I like would learning, would the ability, like the just the act of learning.
That's not a niche.
Is that not a niche?
That's just
I guess so. Yeah. Like one niche that I'm trying to get into now is like 3D art development or like 3D environment development. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, do you know how like in video games they have like environments that you play in and stuff? I want to learn how that works and how that's made.
Like to program it?
Yeah, and like I'm like watching all the videos that are surrounded all that. So that's like a niche that I'm getting into. Okay, so what are yours then?
Dang, okay.
Oh yeah, Harry Potter's also another one.
That's very specific.
Yeah, like when I say like these are my niches, like I can tell you specific details of each of these things. Maybe that's why I can't remember names, because I'm always thinking about like everything related to nerdy stuff.
Oh, I don't know if I'm like that particular.
No, there's nothing you obsess over. Like very like something, and even those ones I wouldn't call them niche because they're so much of the pop culture at this point.
Yeah.
Like when it becomes part of the pop culture, is it a niche at that point?
I feel like I used to really have an obsessive type of personality like as a teenager, and now I've kind of just no thoughts. Just
come on.
I'm trying to think. Hold on.
I feel like everyone should have an obsession, something they obsess over that's like not related to their work or like their daily, like something just very different and out there. Yeah.
Do I not have a niche? Oh my God. Like now I'm like thinking about like what the hell am I into?
I feel like guys have more niches than girls do. Like guys can get really obsessed over things that like girls are like, why are you like into that?
I just like, I'm just not that obsessed with
girls
it.
are boring, guys.
It's not that I'm boring. I like things. I just don't like, I told you, I used to have a very obsessive personality.
Yeah.
Where I would genuinely obsess over like certain things as a teenager. But then as I've gotten older, I've just loosened up my grip.
So like, there's nothing that gets you excited. Like a weird thing that gets you excited. Like you look forward to. Oh my God, Sarah. What are you doing with your life?
I don't know. Don't make me have like a freaking existential crisis.
No, I've asked the funny thing is I've asked like other, I guess, women about this as well. And they said, and they like had the same reaction. Like they didn't have anything that they obsessed over like that. But then whenever I ask guys, like they have something that they obsess over.
No, like
that's like not part of the norm.
I can tell you what they were, like what it was.
Okay,
when I was
what
younger.
did you used to have obsession over?
This one's so weird. Okay, because I was so young, so I had no business being into this. But when I was like maybe like between the ages of like 16 and 24, I was obsessed with searching up and watching random people's wedding videos.
What? So your niche was wedding videos.
And you think I didn't watch it on YouTube.
What'd you watch it on?
The high quality stuff was on Vimeo.
You went to Vimeo to search for this stuff? How did you even find that out? I guess that's the niche then, because you're
niche.
like, yeah.
Like
were there like forums dedicated to this?
No, there weren't forums, but like I got so into it that like I felt like emotion. And I remember I'd always show like my mom, my aunts, like we would just sit there for hours and hours.
Oh, they would watch it with you?
Yeah, I'd force them to.
What?
Yeah, that was a niche.
Oh, you know what? I can't say you're weird for that, because I had a niche recently for like Disneyland parks. I know, it's really weird. So like I would watch every documentary made about Disneyland parks, like how it was developed, where it came from, and I would actually get emotional watching it when I'd hear them talking about it, because like it's been like over a span of like 60, 70 years, so people have passed away in that time. And when like they would be talking about their friends that they worked with for 40 years developing this park and making it to what it is, but then they start passing away here and there, and they start like tearing up like, I felt like I was right there with you. Because like you're watching so many documentaries. You feel
like you're part of the crew, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm a Imagineer now. Do you know what an Imagineer is? Imagineer? It basically like they call themselves Imagineers because for Disneyland parks, like they there's so much dedicated to the experience of being in a Disneyland park that like even the rides have to be developed in a certain way to like not take the person out of it, and they want to make like fully immerse them in the experience. So they have to imagine like how are they going to do this. So they call themselves Imagineers because they're trying to be creative and like have that like fun childish.
They're not just basic engineers, guys.
Exactly,
they're
man.
Imagineers.
Exactly. There you go. That's my goal. Imagineer right now.
That was one though.
Yeah.
That's an interesting niche.
See, it's
that's
like,
very specific.
It is. Yeah.
But aside from that, what else was my niche? Oh, do you remember my like Ocean Up, Just Jared? Remember? And I got
Ocean Up.
I got Gizmo. You don't know what Ocean Up
What's
is?
Ocean Up again? Is that a band?
No.
What is Ocean Up?
Okay, so in my early teens, and I got all my cousins on it. They all know. If they're listening to this, they're gonna be dying. So there was this blog, a celebrity blog called Ocean Up. There was also another one called Just Jared. Like there's Perez Hilton, but like that was not something that
I've heard of Just Jared.
You have?
Yeah.
Really? How?
I think so. It just seems like something like, you know, like in just subconsciously when you said that, like it just triggered something. It was like that, but I just can't remember where I saw it from.
So back in the day, I was obviously, as everyone now knows, I was obsessed with the Jonas Brothers, Demi Lovato, Miley Cyrus, etc. Like that era of Disney. I was obsessed. Okay. And so Ocean Up, Just Jared, like.
Oh, weren't they like gossip sites?
Like they're, I guess that's what it's called. Where they would like post about them, like their whereabouts. Okay, so Just Jared was more so on this. It was more so like they would post like paparazzi photos and then just like say where they were. Yeah, it just sounds so weird now that I'm saying this out loud. But Ocean Up was like so they would post something and then you can comment on it. So it's like a forum. So they would post like conspiracy theories and all this kind of stuff on there. And I remember, do you remember that summer that the Jonas Brothers were filming Camp Rock? Yeah. And I made you guys go to their hotel? Yeah. So I went to their hotel.
Oh, yeah, I remember that day. Did we ever talk about that? I think we've talked about that.
I don't think so.
You guys literally like camped out of their place.
So we went to their hotel. They were staying in the Four Seasons downtown, by the way. A lot of celebrities stay there. This one time that we were waiting with the girls this time.
Wait, how many times have you guys gone? I thought it was just that once. I legit thought it was just that one time. I didn't know you guys did this on multiple occasions.
So this is one of the times that we went. We were waiting for like a long time, okay?
What's a long time?
Like a couple hours.
Okay. That's
it wasn't like
that's okay.
Yeah. And so while we were waiting, we saw some other famous people. We saw this one girl from Degrassi. Do you remember Stacey Farber? I think her name was Stacey.
Was she the white one
with the red hair?
No.
You probably remember her.
I only know the blonde one and the black one. Black girl, not the black one.
The black girl?
Yeah.
The one that was dating Drake on the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was the white. You'll know her.
Wait, I thought Drake was dating like the goth girl or something. I don't know. I just remember seeing
No, he dated
clips
her
of that.
too. He dated her too, but he dated the black
Damn,
girl.
he was a player even on the show. Okay,
He was.
in a wheelchair.
No, this is
pre-wheelchair.
pre-wheelchair.
Okay.
But anyway, so we met Stacey Farber.
Yeah.
And we took photos of her, and obviously because of my obsession, I sent it because
On Ocean Up.
yeah, because they post like fan interactions.
I'm surprised I even learned how to like upload photos onto that site.
I know, but we posted it and we made it on the website, and that was
Really?
like my proudest moment.
Can you like go onto like Wayback Machine and like pull that up?
Like probably can.
I need to find that.
If we find
Please
it,
find that. You
that
have
would
to find
be
that.
so funny. But
I need
yeah,
to put it up or
so
something.
that photo made it, and I remember like I was like on cloud nine.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I made it on this website. But anyways, that was another niche for
Yeah.
like a couple of years where I was dedicated
to the forum
every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like a commenter, okay?
Yeah.
I was in there like a regular. I had an account and everything.
Yeah.
So that was another niche of mine.
And did you play into any of the conspiracies?
Oh yeah.
What kind of conspiracies were they talking about?
Okay, so like you know how Demi Lovato came out with this whole like drug addiction and all that stuff, like all the documentaries that she's done and the rehab and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I knew about all that way back when.
How long ago?
So when she just started off, like when she just got her rise to fame, she used to paparazzi photos. Like I think people they underestimate like how clear quality these things are, right? And on Ocean Up, you can like really blow up the photo.
Were you guys like looking at her nostrils?
No, not her nostrils. So she, and this is really sad. So trigger warning, because like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to offend anybody here.
Actually, you ain't gonna be triggered.
No, I don't know, but she used
Okay.
to have she
Scars?
self harm, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So and she would try to like hide them with like hair ties and stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's when the fans, us, we knew. We were like, oh, we see something. Hope she's okay.
Yeah.
And then little by little, like people, because it's sort of like I don't know if you've ever like read Perez Hilton's website.
I've heard of Perez Hilton.
It's like very gossipy where
Yeah.
people can just submit stories and stuff.
Yeah.
But this Ocean Up would have like photos, like
it would be like it would have to be like verified before it made it on there.
Yeah, it was verified, but it was also like people would submit like unofficial photos. Like people would sneak a photo of someone and send like that kind of stuff. So it was pretty interesting. Since I didn't have a life back then, I just read about other people's lives.
Apparently, you're still looking to make one now. I'm just saying, man. No, you have no more niches left.
What else was I into at the time? I was so interested. I like now looking back.
What happened, Sarah? How did you get less interesting over time?
No, I don't know.
I'm playing.
You think I'm not interesting?
I'm playing. No. You're very interesting.
I think now, you know what my niche is?
Yeah.
Now it's all about self-improvement, mental health. Like I'm really into that kind of stuff. But I also feel like
Get
it's not
outta
really
here.
I feel like it's not really like a niche.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like
That's like,
life.
yeah, health.
Yeah.
Health can't be a niche.
Yours is health for you.
Well, fitness isn't my niche, specifically fitness.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. And like specifically powerlifting.
Skincare was actually a niche for me. Because I feel like, so Aisha does a lot of skincare on her channel.
Yeah.
And I always tell her, like, if you can convince me, you can convince strangers. And she convinces me every single time, man. A little too much, because now I spend way too much on skincare. And I try out everything all at once. And obviously my skin just doesn't like that. If you guys have noticed in recent episodes.
Soap and water, y'all. Soap and water.
Yeah, I know. But I just like, that's something that I get excited about.
Yeah.
Is buying new shit.
For your skin.
Yeah. I get so excited to use it that I use
keep
it
it
all.
simple,
No, I know, but it's just, I don't know. Something about like having a routine.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have no time for a routine, man.
You have.
I'm taking care of my other niches in that time.
Yeah, you invest so much time in everything else that you're like, bun the skincare routine.
Yeah, I'm just telling you. You at this point, I even stopped like doing anything to my face. I know I still put on moisturizer every once in a while. Yeah.
What did you just say?
Like after I take a shower, I'll put on moisturizer.
Did you just say every once in a while?
Oh no! Like after I take on a shower. Yeah, which is like every day. So it's pretty much every day.
Dry winter,
I have to put on moisturizer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the less you focus on it, the better it gets. I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Because if you pick at it every day,
yeah,
it's gonna make it worse, man.
When I stop obsessing over my skin, then when like sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it sounds so weird to say, when I just don't focus on it,
Yeah.
and sometimes I'll like when I wake up in the morning and go to the bathroom and look at my face in the mirror, I'm like, wow, my skin is so clear. And the minute I notice, it goes downhill from there. It's very sad.
Just never notice it. Like like they gotta like trick yourself or something. I don't know.
It's a little hard.
Do something. Yeah.
Take down all the mirrors in my house.
That could work. No, would
you ever live like that?
What?
Would you ever live like that? Like imagine not a single mirror.
No, because I feel like you're kind of like you kind of do have to keep yourself up a little bit. Because especially when you're going to the office, like if other people start to notice, being like, "Hey, like
you okay at home?
You okay?" Exactly. Yeah, you don't want people doing that. You okay? Talk to you. Mm-hmm. So you got to keep it up to a level.
Yeah, I get you.
But there's plenty of guys out there who definitely don't look in the mirror when they leave the house. I'm just saying, I'm playing. Yeah. So you know what, guys? We're gonna take a quick break here, and we'll be back in just a second. No, I must have because I shaved. Did I shave? I literally can't remember. I think I looked at myself in the mirror when we went to when we were about to go to the wedding. That's it. And I never looked into the mirror after that, or even before that, because I just had to shave my face or something.
Where did we get ready before we went to that wedding?
I literally can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
How do we forget that? What the flip?
Where were we? Oh,
yeah. Okay. Now I remember. Yeah. She had a mirror, so we're good. Yeah.
Did she?
Yeah, because I remember shaving there and almost cutting myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. We're back, guys.
Yeah, we're back, guys. No, it was something I want to talk about like 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So the video I sent to Sarah. Mm-hmm. Do you know the guy named Halu Aziz? Halu Aziz, I think that's his name on TikTok. Yeah. Where he basically like now I guess he's streaming now, and it came back to like age old questions like, hey, like I want to get married, but like, well, I'm not financially stable. And his advice was like, don't worry about being financially stable to get married. Like, if you want to get married and you think you found the one, just get married to them. And just hearing that, okay, I know the face you're making right now. Okay. Just hearing that alone, it sounds really bad, right? So your first reaction, what's your first reaction when you hear that?
If we're gonna think about it from an Islamic perspective, because I'll answer that first. Yeah. Islamically, if as a man you're able to fulfill your obligations towards your wife, then get married. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter how much you have, but if you're able to fulfill your obligations, then get married. But then I think about it from like what I would want. I think if you're younger, like you're in your early 20s or maybe late teens, that could probably work. But if you're like late 20s, early 30s, 40s, whatever, like if you're older and you're more established, but you're not financially stable, like you can't be 35 and not financially stable. I don't know. Obviously people have different life circumstances that puts them in that position. But like you have to think about it this way, right? Like the older a woman is, they're going to look for someone who is financially stable because they probably are too. And so you can't come to an older woman broke and then be like, let's get married, because she's gonna look at you and be like, how?
And I think that's why his advice, because one thing people don't realize, like I know he has a beard and like he looks older, but he's actually only I think like 25.
Oh really?
Yeah. And he got married like I think 3 years before. So he was really young when he got married. So I think what he was trying to say, because he did get a lot of backlash when he said that, a lot of people stitching it and like saying like, oh, like this is not right, like, you know, you should have something set up or some way of being able to support your wife. But what I think what he was trying to say is that like you can get married and then like work on finding or make a plan to where eventually you guys will live together.
So he's saying get married and don't live together?
Like if you can, then do that. But like don't worry about the whole like having to live together or anything, because your guys are still young. Because he was probably thinking from the fact that he's still young or whatever, right? But like get married just so you can make anything you guys do halal. So then you can work through the whole like, okay, this is what I'm doing to like make money. Okay, how long until we move in, that kind of stuff. Like all that stuff you can work out after you get married, because nowadays, I think that's why we're seeing like now a new wave of a lot of the Gen Z people are getting married younger, while a lot of like millennials like us are like not getting married as early or not as quickly as them.
Well, that's because we were raised by our parents who were, a lot of them immigrated here. And so their mentality is you're not going to get married until you're financially stable.
Well, I don't think that works because a lot of the Gen Z do have parents like that who have recently came or are first generation basically.
That is true.
Or the kids are first generation.
That is true, but they also learn from not experience, but watching other people, right? And so they do things differently. Like you learn by like your predecessors. You learn from the people that came before you.
Yeah.
Right. So like for us, who did we have to look up to besides our parents and like maybe like our older siblings or whatever? I can understand this guy's point though, because I think when you get married young and maybe you're not fully financially ready to support someone, your circumstances have now changed because now you're married and now you know, and it's a motivating factor for you to work harder in order to be able to support your spouse.
Yeah.
So I can kind of.
But don't you think there's like a benefit? Because him, even though he did get married young, like he worked harder. Like you said, he worked harder to be able to at least get a small apartment with his wife. And like, I feel like there's a benefit to that struggle. Like as long as you have a wife who's willing to go through that struggle with you, I feel like it makes your bond stronger over time. And I think just a lot of people aren't willing or they don't want to have to go through that struggle. But I feel like it actually benefits a marriage to be able to have to go through some type of struggle.
Yes, but on the flip side of that argument, there's also like this mentality of like, if a woman has to help build you up, then they actually end up falling out of love with you because it's like, what? I know. It sounds kind of stupid, but it's like let's say there's a guy, and in a woman's eyes, he's a project, right? Because he needs help with whatever aspect of his life. Yeah. So she works hard. She helps him. She builds him up to be this amazing person. He's financially stable. He's emotionally intelligent, he's whatever, etc. And right, he has everything now. But she looks at him and she's like, yeah, I made him like that, I built him like that. So in her eyes, he still ain't shit because she everything that all of his success was because of her. If you take her out of the equation, he probably would have still been where he was before she helped him.
Isn't that what a partnership is? Like you're supposed to make each other better?
Yes, I know, but I'm saying like that's the flip side. Like that's the other part of the argument. So some women would rather they have a man who's already.
Would a guy ever think that way? I don't think a guy would ever think that way. Like, oh,
if they're like extremely toxic.
So what you're saying is that woman is toxic for thinking that way.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
as long as we're on the same page about that.
No, because when you're in a relationship, like first of all, no one's perfect, right? And I think that when you get into a relationship, you're getting to know and you're basically blending your life with a totally different person. Yeah. Someone who has different life experience, different thoughts and perceptions and everything from you. Like they're just a different person. Yeah. So naturally, they're going to influence you maybe on becoming a better person, or at least one would hope that, right? Yeah. So how is that not a good thing? Like when you get into a relationship, you end up developing the habits of the other person anyway, or you create new habits together or whatever. Yeah. Right. So I don't see that as a bad thing. But sometimes when, let's say you have two people, one person's already at 100 in their life and the other person's at 60. So the person who's at 100 helps to bring the other person up. Some people see that as like a weakness, right? Because they're helping them. Yeah. You get what I mean?
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that's right. Good. Yeah, that's not right at all.
I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying that's like the other thought of that. There are some people who think like that, where if they have to help you be a better person, then they kind of look at you and they're kind of like, not that they look down on you, but like they know deep down inside, like you are as good as you are because of them. So they always like.
Yeah, and those people will die alone.
I don't know, but.
But it is weird how sometimes, like, when I think about like the whole marriage thing, I'm like, this person was a stranger, like 3 months ago or 6 months ago, and you're choosing to live the rest of eternity with this person.
Because
think about it, you know, in Islam we think of life as a resting point or a stopping point. You know, this is really just the waiting spot until we move on to our real journey of the afterlife, which is eternal. And technically in Islam, like if you both love each other for the sake of Allah, you will meet each other again in paradise, and you'll be married there for the rest of eternity. So you're like, this person I just met you 6 months ago, but you know what? I'm gonna spend the rest of eternity with you. Maybe that's why we get 4. Because eternity is a long time. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, okay. You know, the number's kind of small now thinking about it. No,
but, you know, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
But yeah, it does. The way I think people are getting on him for no reason with his statement, not for no reason,
would
but
you
like,
do that though?
What?
Like, think of yourself as you
if I went back, if I went back, I don't know. I can't say that if I went back because like I don't know who I would be.
Let's just say you met the person that you like. You were like, sure, like yes, I'm gonna marry this. I want to marry this person, but you weren't financially stable at the time. Would you have still done it?
Probably, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, then again, like, because I'm trying to think about who I was at that time. And, like, I started working young. So, like, technically, I've always been financially stable.
Okay, let's just pretend like you weren't.
But, like, I can't.
Here's the thing. Financially stable doesn't equate to maturity, though.
But that's,
not that you were immature,
I guess so.
But
we're just thinking financials specifically here.
Okay, fine.
And, like, even then, like, what does it mean if you have enough to just buy like a 1-bedroom apartment in the middle of the hood, technically, or not buy, but like rent that one and be able to pay for your groceries, technically you are financially stable. Of course, you're not living in the best environment, but you are able to you have a starting point.
Yeah, essentially financially stable means you're able to fulfill your basic needs.
Exactly. So like to a point, like as long as you had some type of job, you could be financially stable at a pretty young age.
Maybe in that economy, but today's economy?
I guess so, yeah. In today's economy.
Basically living below the poverty line.
Yeah. But I feel like I would have, yeah. If I found someone, I'd be married like right away. I don't like waiting for that kind of stuff. But then, of course, clearly, you know, I had. It just hasn't worked out, okay, guys? Stop like, why are you judging me, okay?
They're like,
yeah. But that was just something I saw on the internet recently that I thought needed to be dive deeper into.
How do you feel about it now, being a 30-year-old who has been in the workforce for over a decade at this point? Damn.
Oh shit. Okay, it's only been 7 years.
Damn.
Chill. Actually, technically in the workforce in general, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, damn. Like, you.
Well, whatever. You know what I'm just saying. I've been getting money. Okay, that's how it is. Okay, I'm just saying.
Okay. Like, how do you feel about that perception now? Like, would you advise, like, if one of the younger guys, someone that you know that's like, maybe like 18, 19, that age bracket, would you tell them, like, yeah, you have a girlfriend, go get married?
If they really felt like they had the person, like, of course you have to like look at the person too and be like, okay, are you mature? Like, if they're not mature,
but obviously an 18-year-old is gonna tell you, yeah, I'm mature.
No, but if I know this person, because the only person I would give that kind of advice to is if I know them. Right?
Yeah.
And I know their family and all that kind of stuff. If I know it, then I'll be like, you know what? Sure. It's like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You can always just move on.
That's the thing, though. Like,
you never know if you're gonna have tomorrow.
That is true.
And you want to keep things halal.
That's also true, but it's like you don't want to. Who you loved at 18 is not who you going. I mean, for not for everybody, but like like. You don't want to encourage such a permanent. Okay, maybe it's not permanent because it's divorce, but like you don't want to encourage such a big decision on like something that like you like for now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, and I guess you're looking at it like, okay, are they mature? Everyone, when you're that young, I remember thinking I was mature, but now looking back, I was like, I was an idiot. I didn't know anything. I was.
But they can grow up and learn together, and become mature together.
Yeah, but not everybody.
Yeah, every case is. I won't. Okay, I like I said, I'm not gonna say that for every single person.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of cases now in our own community where people are getting married at like really young ages.
Yeah, and may Allah make them successful in their decisions.
Yeah.
No, I genuinely mean that, because you, like, if you are lucky to find someone at that young of an age and you're so sure and you guys can make it work, like, why not do it?
Yeah, because I feel like getting married really does help with your deen. So like maybe just when you get that point, past that point of getting married, like you'll be more focused on like becoming a better Muslim as well. And you won't, maybe you like, as long as you're lowering your gaze or whatever, like you won't have as many distractions in your life. So you won't even lust for those other things or not desire those other things because you have someone that's halal for you, and you'll be like good for the rest of your life. But so you'll be able to focus on the things that are important.
From a man's point of view.
Yeah, from the man's point of view at least.
Yeah.
Because everything I'm going, I don't know the woman's point of view. I don't. You got to give that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why, you know, some people say like getting married is like completing half your deen.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's not the actual act of getting married that completes half your deen, but it's like all that comes with it, right? Like you being good to your spouse, praying together, encouraging each other to be better, etc.
Yeah.
That's what helps you complete half your deen, because essentially you now have a built-in motivating partner.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That helps you fight against your nafs and do all that you need to do.
Yeah. So and to go back to that person who asked that question, it would depend on who their partner, who they're choosing to. I would be very judgy of that. At that point, it's important to be as critical as possible, even if you feel like it's not politically correct for the things that you're looking out for. But depending on the person who asked me that question, like there are certain things that I will be looking out for.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about, like, for me, every time when it comes to marriage, I'm thinking like overall, like, will this person make me a better Muslim? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because now you can have your fun whenever you're young.
Yeah.
But like when you get older, like of course, inshallah, if you do get older ever, even now, like when you're accountable and whatever, you just want to make sure that like you're making the best decisions for yourself, so that, you know, like I mentioned earlier, when you get into the afterlife, you'll be set up for the best deal. I don't know what the word I was about to say. Best, you have the best outcome. Exactly, that's what it is.
Best deal. I was like, what?
I don't know. Okay, whatever.
Okay, but like, you know how we
I'm
just
not a
assumed.
podcaster.
You are, but you know how we just assumed that he meant someone who is young just because they're not financially stable?
Yeah.
What if it was like someone who's 30 and not financially stable?
That's why any statement said is usually you're supposed to take it as more of like a general thing and not for, there are going to be outliers. Okay,
but like, would you tell your 30-year-old friend, yeah, you're not financially stable? Go ahead. Go ask for her hand.
No, that's why I told you. You're literally proving my point. I'm telling you there are outliers, okay? But generally, for the most part, most people would be financially stable at that age.
But if they're not, then
you gotta go back to the drawing board, man, and be
go get that bag up, homie.
Exactly.
And then you could ask for her hand.
Exactly.
Okay. Would you ever help your friend?
Like, what do you mean?
Loan him some money?
No, I don't like loaning money like that, man.
Dang, you're not trying to help your friend get the girl.
Wait, for the girl to loan money for the no?
Like maybe he needs like, you know, a couple months rent, and then he'll be like, I'm gonna get my bag up, but I just need some support right now.
Okay, I would never loan money. I would give money. I would never. The one thing you should always, whenever you give money to someone, never expect it back.
What? So why not? You
never.
Can give loans.
I'm telling you right now, never. You realize how much people can change or switch up on you if you give them money, and like you start not pestering for them, but you start asking for it back, because like depending on the amount, like they can start feeling like, oh, like you have something over them. They might stop talking to you because they feel like they owe you something, and they want to like they don't want that to come up, so they start avoiding you.
That makes me so uncomfortable, because personally, if I lend money to someone, I low-key have that same mentality. Yeah. It's not that I assume it's a donation. It's just I lend them money, and I don't do it reluctantly. Like I happily will give someone money if they needed it. Yeah. Like if they're like, oh, can I borrow $500? Yeah. Okay, here. And I'm like, inshallah, they pay me back one day. And my toxic trait is that I would rather freeze outside in the Canadian winter than ever ask someone for money back. Yeah. That's why you notice, like, so whenever I pay for something or I buy something or I even just give money to someone,
I never ask for it back. I just like, if they remember, they remember. Whatever.
No, but like sometimes like we split things.
Yeah.
And I'll forget, and he just won't. And I'm like, Amir, why the hell didn't you remind me?
I'm
he'll
like,
be like, I'm like, no.
It's not my money anymore.
No, but I told you, like, that's the thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
you got to think about a verbal contract, okay? If I tell you I'm going to pay you back,
yeah,
I'm going to pay you back. Because I hate when people, like, personally, I don't like when people say, like, oh, I really need this cash. Can I borrow some money from you? And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then they just never talk about it again. And I understand. People forget. I understand. Life gets hectic, whatever. But, like, if I borrow money from someone, that weighs heavy on me every single day. I'm like, oh, my God, I owe this person money. Yes, sometimes I forget, but then it comes back to me. Yeah. Like, we'll randomly be in conversation. I'm like, I owe you money. Yeah. You know what I mean? So.
That's why I also personally, I would never ask for money because I would just feel too awkward. I don't know. I'm so awkward when it comes to that because I'm like, you know what? I'll just figure it out. I'll do something. I'll sell something to make the money back. Because I don't know. That's how I'm always weird about money. For me, it's
I think it depends. Like if it's someone that's very close, I wouldn't mind asking. Like I'd ask you for like $200 if I needed it.
But if it's $200, I'll just give it. I won't even like expect it back.
Oh, but if it was like 5,000, you'd be like, you better pay me back, Sarah.
Even 5,000. No, I was just
gonna say, you got it like
that. No. I don't know if I would ever give $5,000 for someone. That's like a big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah, like even actually, even for $5,000, depending on the person, I might give it and not expect it back.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Because like at the end of the day,
$5,000. Are you kidding me?
You know, I believe that Allah will sustain me or give me sustenance. The sustenance that that He has willed for me.
Your sustenance is written for you.
Is written for me.
Yes, you're
so
right.
If I give that money out, I rely on Him enough that I feel like if I ever needed that money again, that it would come back to me in some other way.
MashaAllah.
I was just saying.
MashaAllah. You guys see this? The nude is literally going like spewing out. I need shades right now.
I didn't want to say that. Okay.
No, but I do. I agree. And you know what they say about giving donations Islamically is like when you give donations, it'll never make you poor.
Yeah, exactly.
You always get it back one way or another.
Yeah, like when they say that in the lessons and stuff,
it's true.
I take it to heart. I'm like, okay, then I just won't. If someone asks me for that much money, I'll give it out, and I will never like. There are people who, whenever they have donations for like the Islamic Center, they just give $5,000. They're not expecting that money back.
Yeah, I know.
So if it's someone donation. Close to me, why would I expect that money back either? So I'm like, whatever, just take it.
Because you never know what your financial situation is. Like, what if like you know. But I mean, I get it. Like most of the time, I don't lend money.
Yeah.
And automatically say, yeah, I'm giving this away for free. I expect it back. But after a certain time, when it's past the point where I'm not comfortable to ask for it back, that's when I'm like, okay, you know what? I intend for this to be a donation. They don't have to pay me back. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And I just leave it and then we never talk about it again. And it doesn't come back to me. Well, it comes back to me in other ways, but I'm saying, you know?
Okay, so we have similar things. I'm probably like on the extreme side of the spectrum, and you're like more like
you just automatically give it away and just don't expect it back.
The thing is, it convincing me to give it would be hard, but eventually, if I was convinced to give it, I wouldn't expect it back.
If I asked you for money, would you lend me, or would you?
Depends on what it is.
What do you mean?
What it depends. Like it depends on what it's for. Like if it was for like life-saving surgery, I'd be like, oh, just take it. Okay, I know. That's extreme.
That's
okay,
so extreme.
If it was for like
what if my car breaks down? I'm like, oh my God, I need to get a tow truck, but I don't have my wallet.
Yeah, if it's something that's gonna affect your life that much, I'd probably just give it and be like, whatever.
What if it's like,
you're just trying to find out where the line is?
Yeah. I am low-key. Like, what's my limit?
What? Yeah, give me another scenario. Let's see.
Okay.
What?
I go on vacation, but I'm having a horrible time, and I'm texting you, and I'm like, yo, I don't get paid till next week. Can you just buy me a return ticket, and I'll pay you when I come back? Would you do that?
I'd probably just buy the return ticket.
I would pay you that. That's.
If you wanted to, you could. But
I would.
But I wouldn't ask for it. And I wouldn't ask for it.
One time I texted my brother that, and guess what he didn't do? He didn't buy me a return ticket.
No way.
Yeah, he didn't. He was like, you better deal with your problems.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where it was after. I can't say it on camera.
Oh my God. But yeah.
Yeah, good times. I stayed.
Oh shit.
What?
It was like an hour, 12 minutes.
Yeah,
bro.
this was a long episode.
Yeah,
It was a good one.
we didn't even finish all our topics, but
we
you know,
really didn't.
yeah,
We'll save it for a rainy day.
exactly. Okay, guys. So again, I don't know if you guys like this like new setup or whatever. Let us know in the comments. At least for the video listeners, the audio listeners, you know, shout out to y'all.
I feel like we were more relaxed. Like I like this vibe.
Yeah, that's why we've got seats like this.
Can we have like a nice fireplace right here?
Yeah, we can have a nice. Remember, leave your comments in there. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Hit the bell thingamajig so you can get notified whenever the episodes are up. Follow us on all our other platforms. Just search up Cousin Connection Pod on Instagram or TikTok. I think it's podcast or pod on and TikTok as well. And yeah, what else? No, we're good.
That's it.
Okay. Bye.